This bout 15 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Undoubtedly, the leading two watch-style dive computers on the market today are the Garmin Descent Mk2i and the Shearwater Teric. In this video, we are putting them head-to-head to help you decide which you should invest your hard-earned money on. Let's do it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. As always, so great to see all of your smiling faces. I hope you're all doing really well. If you're new to our channel, make your next dive on our subscribe button. It really helps us out making this content to help make you a better scuba diver. Now, Garmin versus Shearwater, the battle for the ages. We have reviewed both of these dive computers individually and judged them on their own merits. Now it's time to compare them head to head. So in this video, we are going to cover what features both computers have in common. We're going to go down the list and actually see who wins in each categories. We're going to look at what features separate these two computers and which you should buy in my honest opinion. This is going to be a monster video, lots to get through. Stay with me. If you're trying to decide which dive computer to invest in, I promise you this video will have a ton of value for you. Now, for the sakes of clarity, we are looking at the Shearwater Teric, which there is only one of. Yes, it comes in different colors, but all the variations have the exact same features. On my other wrist is the Garmin Descent Mk2i. This has the air integrated version. So there is the Mk2 and the Mk2i. For the purposes of this comparison, we are using the Mk2i because that means that both of these are air integrated. This video is not sponsored by either Shearwater or Garmin, and neither Shearwater nor Garmin know that I'm making this video. It's just a response to a question that I get all the time: which should I buy, Teric, Descent? I will clarify that both companies did send me both of these computers for free. Like I said, we've made review videos of them in the past, but now it's time for them to duke it out in the ring. Let's start then with the commonalities. I have drawn up a comparison chart of the features that both the Teric and the Garmin have in common. If you want to download the whole chart in its entirety, I've uploaded it to our website and you can do so through the link in the video description below. But I'm going to take you now line by line through the chart, and for each feature I'm going to personally pick a winner based on my preference of how each computer does in that category. So let's dive into it. So first up then, how do these two watches compare as an everyday timepiece? If you're choosing a watch style dive computer instead of a wrist mount computer with a larger screen, like for example the Perdix, the greatest dive computer ever made, said it before, say it again, you're going to want to wear it as a watch when not diving, right? Makes sense. Otherwise just buy a Perdix. So how then do these two watches shape up as wrist candy? Well, I think they both look sexy as all hell, but in different ways. The Garmin for me is a little bit more futuristic with its titanium look. You can slap a leather strap on it and all that kind of good stuff. And for me, this wins the boardman room and the business dinners. The Teric, on the other hand, is a little bit more sporty. I think it's better suited for hanging at the yacht club and having cocktails. However, I'm going to give the win in this category to the Garmin, and here's why. When I want to check the time, I just want to glance and see the time. That's what a watch should do. The Teric's face times out to save battery and goes completely black, which means you have to press a button. That's a really small thing, but very annoying when, let's say, you have shopping bags or something in the other hand and you just want to know what time it is quickly. So for me, the Garmin wins as an everyday watch because it actually works as a watch all the time. So next up, let's talk about AI. Yes, the Shearwater supports one less transmitter than the Garmin, but who needs 5 transmitters? Maybe, possibly a dive leader with 4 errant students swimming off into the blue abyss, but really, how many people out there are diving with 5 transmitters? So the Teric wins for this one for its specific side mount mode. It reminds divers to switch cylinders based on AI gas consumption when diving 2 separate side mount operations, and I think that's a really neat little trick. Moving on to the transmitter, anyone who saw the Garmin T1 review we put out last year knows that I hated the Garmin sonar chirps. Yes, you're not supposed to notice them, but I did, and they ruined dives for me. So my Garmin transmitter has sat in a drawer over there, and that's where it's going to stay. I don't need the extended distance that the sonar offers, so I'll stick with the Swift transmitters. Score 1 for Shearwater. Next up we have weight, and I measured them both with just the standard silicone strap. No surprises here. Garmin with its titanium design is 17% lighter than the Shearwater, so that wins that category. The changeable straps though, because Garmin makes so many other wrist devices, diving and non-diving, they can afford to have many more options for straps, both in material and color. But what makes Garmin win this category is the quick fit system. Changing the strap on the Teric is a major annoyance. There are fiddly little pins and tiny screws to battle with, and my gorilla paws just don't have that finesse. Changing straps with the Descent, you can do it with one hand. It's a breeze. So easy win for Garmin on that one. Let's talk about interface then. Normally my rule for the dive computer is the one with the least buttons is the better computer. But with the enormous amount of functionality the Garmin has over the Shearwater, we'll talk about that a little bit later on, we're going to call this a draw for having one extra button. It doesn't really make a difference. So the functionality of both is totally fine. Both have great user experience, both have very logical menu systems. Let's look at the materials. Garmin calls their case material diamond-like carbon coating. My ass, if diamonds scratched as easily as this thing did, nobody would buy diamonds. The Descent got dinged up and scratched basically the first time out. I'm going with Shearwater on the quality of the materials. Gases, well, this is a draw. Both are Trimix CCR capable with more than enough programmable gases for any serious technical diver, so that's a draw. Algorithm, also a draw. Both use variations of the Bullman ZHL16C as a base algorithm, and both have some programmability when it comes to your conservatism or what actual specific algorithm you want to use. Let's look at the Bluetooth log app on your phone. No significant difference in user experience, so I'm going to call that a draw as well. Sensors then, I know a bunch of friends had a bad experience with some Shearwater depth sensors and had to rely on Shearwater's admittedly excellent customer service to get them fixed, but I'm giving the win to Garmin for this one for sheer firepower. It has not just one, but 3 different GPS systems that it can communicate with. It does your pulse ox, it does your heart rate when worn against the skin. Shearwater has a good compass, but it doesn't communicate with satellites in outer space. So yeah, Garmin for the win on that one. Dive modes, pretty much a draw. Both computers feature free diving, or apnea mode as Garmin calls it, plus single gas, multi-gas recreational, technical dive modes, CCR dive mode, and a dive planner. It's a draw, no difference there. Depth rating, Garmin is 100 meters, 330 feet, Shearwater Teric 200 meters, 660 feet. Deeper is better, Shearwater wins, obviously. Let's talk about charging. Confession from my side, I haven't done a timed charge from empty to full kind of test, but my experience has been that the charging seems to be faster with the Garmin, and the charging device, a 4-pin clip, is easier to use and transport than the Shearwater's cradle. I can charge the Garmin in my truck on the go, no worries at all, whereas the Shearwater tends to need a flat, steady surface for the computer to sit on the cradle, and if it rocks slightly then it doesn't charge, and then, yeah, Garmin wins this category. Garmin charges better than the Shearwater does. Again guys, all of this is my opinion. You may completely disagree with me at your leisure. And then we get to screen. Undoubtedly, Shearwater has the brighter, sharper screen, but the trade-off is, yeah, battery. The Garmin kicks ass on battery life. It's not even close. The Garmin's battery, whilst using GPS, i.e. talking to satellites in outer space, lasts longer than the Teric's in a watch mode. The Garmin has 240% of the battery life of the Teric in dive mode. It's not even close. Win for the Garmin. Updates, well, both have great firmware support from both companies, so we'll call that a draw. Alerts, again, a draw. Both have vibration, visual and audible alarms and all that kind of good stuff. And then we get to price. And I don't like talking about price because this goes out all around the world. But here in the States, the Shearwater is about $349.99 cheaper than the Garmin from an authorized retailer of both. Now, you can pick and choose your own favorites in each category, and you can go down that list and say, James, you're completely wrong, I disagree with you on it. That's fine. But let me simplify your decision by saying what it really boils down to is, what do you prefer? A brighter screen or a longer battery life? But what we really need to look at in order to make this a fair fight is all the functions the Garmin can do that the Shearwater cannot, which justifies that additional $350 on the Mk2i's higher price tag. So bear that in mind. The Garmin does everything the Teric does. The Teric does not do everything the Garmin does. What does the Garmin do that the Teric doesn't do? So much stuff. All of this stuff. Yeah, it's still going. Yeah, I know, all the stuff, all the functions a really good smartwatch can do on a Trimix capable watch style dive computer. Heart rate monitor, GPS, swim watch, cycling, hiking. It can find your dog, it can navigate your golf course for you. It can read your text messages and play music and let you know when your Amazon package got delivered or when your front door is unlocked. All the things your smartwatch do. So I would say that if you are a smartwatch user, if you have a Fitbit that you're using now, or an Apple Watch or a Samsung Galaxy Watch, and you don't want to give up those functions to rock your dive computer as your daily wear watch, then the Garmin is absolutely worth the investment. But if you're not the kind of person who uses a smartwatch anyway, then it really comes down to battery life versus screen brightness, and only you can make that decision. I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, but I do hope that this video has helped you to make a better, more well-informed decision. Ultimately, both of these computers are absolute beasts and will last you a very long time, and they're impossible to outgrow. So if you decide on either one of them, you're pretty much future-proof. Please consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't done so already, and give this video the big thumbs up, or share it with your dive buddies if you learnt something from it. Also, don't be shy, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about these two dive computers. Which have you chosen? Which one are you leaning towards? I love all that interaction. Until next time, my name's James. This was your Divers Ready video for this week. Dive safe, dive often.